Welcome back, friends, to the porch where we read. It's been a while. Between having my YouTube channel taken down and having some health issues, I gave up. I said, I've only got 70 something subscribers. Thank you for those of you that found me. And what's the point? But it gave me such joy to have the channel, and things are a little bit more under control. I'm going to try to be more careful about copyrighted things, so I'm reading off of Project Gutenberg. As I understand that, these are not under copyright. So we're starting with Dante's Inferno. I was off put when I thought about teaching Dante's Inferno originally because it seemed, really highbrow and really fancy. But it's more like a quest. It's like a fantasy, and it's all the circles of hell and this concept. And there's a really great, if you just do Dante's Inferno, circles of hell images, you'll get all kinds of cool, looks like gaming images and things. So that might help you as we go through the levels. And it's a poem. So I'm using what's off Project Gutenberg. That's the translation. There are lots of different translations out there. This one rhymes, so I'll try not to be too sing-songy. And let's start with Canto 1. In middle of the journey of our days, I found that I was in a darksome wood, the right road lost and vanished in the maze. Ah, me, how hard to make it understand how rough that wood was, wild and terrible. But the mere thought, by the mere thought, my terror is renewed. So this guy's telling a story about he got lost in the woods and he was terrified. It was really scary, dark. So it starts out like kind of a ghost story. More bitter scarce were death, but ere I tell at large of good, which there by me was found, I will relate what other things befell. Scarce know I how I entered on that ground. So deeply at the moment when I passed from the right way, was I in slumber drowned. So he feels like he's been put to sleep. But when beneath a hill arrived at last, which for the boundary of the valley stood, that which such terror had my heart harassed, I upwards looked and saw its shoulders glowed, radiant already with that planet's light, which guided surely upon every road. A little then was quieted by the sight, the fear which deep within my heart had lain, through all my sore experience of the night. And as the man who hath Sorry, I moved my tablet and I can't see where I am. And as the man who, breathing short in pain, hath escaped the sea and struggled to the shore, turns back to gaze upon the perilous main, even so my soul, which fear still forward bore, turned to review the past which I aggressed, and which none living ever left before. So he's going through this transition, and he's realizing it's kind of scary, and he uses the metaphor of, you've almost drowned, but then you look back to the shore to see how far out you are. He's looking back. My wearied frame refreshed with scanty rest, I to ascend the lonely hill essayed, the lower foot still that on which I pressed, and lo, ere I had well beginning made, a nimble leopard, light upon her feet, and in a skin all spotted. It's like he's having a crazy nightmare. This leopard now appears, light upon her feet, and in a skin all spotted or arrayed, nor ceased she ere me full in the face to meet, and to me in my path such hindrance threw, that many a time I wheeled me to retreat. It was the hour of dawn, with retinue of stars that were with him when love divine, in the beginning into motion drew those beauteous things, the sun began to shine. And I took heart to be of better cheer, touching the creature with gaudy skin, seeing 'twas morn and springtide of the year. So the timing and the setting is going to matter. So if you're annotating, note what time of day, what season it is, and what creatures he comes across, because this is going to be this journey. This is a whole journey. A lion came. So we had a leopard, now a lion. A lion came. I was disturbed with fear. Towards me he seemed advancing in his might, rapid with hunger and with head high thrown. The very air was tremulous with fright. A she-wolf, too, behold, I further on. Now, so a leopard, a lion, a she-wolf. All kinds of lust seemed in her leanness pent. Through her ere now much folk have misery known. by her oppressed and altogether spent, by the terror breathing from her aspect fell. I lost all hope of making the ascent. He's scared he can't get away. And as the man who joys while thriving well, when comes the time to lose what he has won, in all his thoughts weeps inconsolable. So I mourned I through the brute which rest knows none. She barred my way again, and yet again, and thrust me backward silent as the sun. And as I downward rushed to reach the plain, before mine eyes appeared there one aghast, and dumb like those that silence long maintain. When I beheld him in the desert vast, whate'er thou art, or ghost, or man, I cried, I pray thee show such pity as thou hast. No man, though once I was, on either side Lombard my parents were, and both of them for native place had Mantua, he replied. Though late sub Julio to the world I came, and lived at Rome in good Augustus' day, while yet false gods and lying were supreme, poet I was, renowing in my lay, and Chisi's righteous son, who fled from Troy. Now, when we did our Odyssey and our Iliad books, these are all allusions. So if you're annotating, this is a literary allusion to Troy and the Odyssey, the story, the epic. What time proud Ilion was to flames a prey, but thou, why going back to such annoy? The hill delectable, why fear to mount, the origin of and ground of every joy? And thou, in sooth, art Virgil, and the fount, whence in a stream so full doth language flow? Abashed, I answered him with humble front, of other poets' light and honor thou. Let the long study and great zeal I've shown in searching well thy book avail me now. My master thou, and author thou alone. For thee alone I, borrowing, could attain the style consummate which has made me known. Behold the beast which makes me turn again. Deliver me from her, illustrious sage. Because of her I tremble, pulse, and vein. Thou must attempt another pilgrimage. Observing that I wept, he made reply. If from this waste thyself thou didst disengage, because the beast thou art afflicted by will suffer none along her way to pass, but hindering them harasses till they die. So vile a nature and corrupt she was. Her raging lust is still insatiate, and food but makes it fiercer than it was. Many a creature hath she taken for mate. They're still talking about this she-wolf. And more shall wed until the hound comes forth to slay her and afflict with torment great. He will not batten upon pelf or earth, but he shall feed on valor, love, and lore. Feltro and Feltro. Now, in this version, in the Gutenberg, there are endnotes or footnotes that you can click on, and it'll give you